Hey, happy Friday afternoon, everybody. Alan Weber here from the mayor's office with my friend Kira Ochoa in her home office. I took my mask off early because we were practicing getting this project going. So please forgive me because the news today is very serious about the governor's new announcement, and we should all be wearing masks. I should be wearing a mask when we start this webcast. Let me go over what the governor just uh, announced on her press conference. For the next 2 weeks, beginning Monday, November the 16th, the state of New Mexico will be on the most heightened level of public health restrictions. That's November 16 through November 30. It includes Thanksgiving. The governor went out of her way to indicate that in her family, Thanksgiving will be a very different experience this year because she's putting health and well-being for her family ahead of the love and companionship that we get when we're all together. Please remember that Thanksgiving this year has to be a different experience. Please, she says, shelter in place, stay at home, only leave for groceries, water, emergency medical care, including flu shots and COVID-19 tests. All non-essential business and nonprofits must cease at-work operations. Essential businesses are listed at cv.nmhealth.org. Those essential businesses must reduce operations and reduce in-person workforce. Closed are gyms, rec centers, golf, tennis, state parks. Houses of worship, maximum of 25% of capacity or 75 individuals, whichever is smaller. Essential retail, maximum of 25% of capacity or 75 people, whichever is smaller. Restaurants, curbside pickup or delivery only, no on-site dining inside or outside. After 2 weeks, on Monday, November the 30th, the state will work county by county to determine the amount of reopening. There will be 3 levels. Green level 1 will be allowed an expanded economic footprint, in-person activities, more allowed than we have today. Yellow level 2 will work toward the current level of restrictions. Red level 3 will require onerous public health restrictions on in-person activities. The message is clear: stay home. Don't go out unless you have to. If you're sick, you must stay home. If you think you may have been exposed, you must stay home. Wear a mask over both nose and mouth if you do go out, and stay 6 feet apart. Don't congregate with other people, especially people you don't live with. Wash and sanitize your hands for 20 seconds frequently. The reason for this is in the data. If you look at Santa Fe County, we're now up to 21 COVID-related deaths. We have yesterday 132 new cases. The day before that, 93. Before that, 90, 92, 128. Our weekly average is now almost 100 new cases a day. This is a level of community spread that is out of control. We're not alone. It's all over the country. Other states are cracking down. Other cities are cracking down. The mayor of Chicago went on the air and announced that everyone should do everything they can around the Thanksgiving holiday to observe it, but not together, observe it at a distance, using FaceTime or Zoom calls, because we are seeing a very, very serious spike in cases. I was on a phone Zoom call yesterday with people from Johns Hopkins. They say the next 2 months are likely to be worse than the last 2 months. Yes, there is a vaccine on its way. They were very optimistic that the Pfizer program is making progress. It is apparently now roughly 90% effective, but all the data are not in yet. It'll be another 2 months or so before they have all the trials completed. And even after the trials are completed, the task of getting those vaccines out to the public, figuring out a delivery system, figuring out priorities? Do you give it to nurses and doctors first? Do you give it to teachers? Do you give it to firefighters and police officers? Do you give it to essential workers? Do you make it available to people who are in the food supply chain? All of that needs to be worked out. So the governor's announcement today was also part of a national effort to change the course of COVID in America, in New Mexico, and in Santa Fe. When we started down this road in March, we led the country. And I think we can do it again. I'm confident that we can do it again with real discipline and focus. At the same time, we need to make sure that people get help when they need it. The governor announced her intention of calling a special session of the legislature after she coordinates with the Senate and the House. And the purpose of that is to try to find a way as rapidly as possible to get more money into our communities to help people who have to pay for heating, pay the rent, find money for food, find money for their kids and families. With that in mind, I asked Kira Ochoa, who is on this Zoom call and is the outstanding director of community services for the city of Santa Fe and cooperates very closely with the county over our Connect program and in the ways in which we are moving money that the governor provided us through CARES Act funding, getting those dollars into the community where they can help people directly, immediately, and very importantly. So Kira, take it away. I think you have a lot of information about what we've been doing, how much money we've been able to get out onto the street, so to speak, into people's hands. I have some data afterward to talk about the small business grants. That's the other important part of our effort to help people during this time of COVID-related distress. So please take it away, talk about the CARES Act, talk about the ways in which we are doing our very best to get money where people can get the help they need.
Thank you, Mayor Weber. Yes, we're working very hard with our community partners in the Connect network to make sure that people who need money for rent, money for utilities, money for food, childcare, and an array of other essential needs have some help right now. Anyone who's been economically impacted by COVID is eligible for these funds. And we have 42 partner agencies in the city and the county of Santa Fe. Everyone from, a homeless shelter to food depot to Las Cumbres serving young families to some of our many other wonderful programs that many of you already give to or know about or have benefited from. They're all receiving CARES Act money from the city and the county. The county has devoted close to $2 million into these contracts. The city has 3.6 million currently in these contracts, and these monies are being used, and we're hearing the stories of how they're starting to impact our community, people in them, everyone from a security guard who was working at a homeless shelter whom the director found was sleeping in his car, who was able to be put up in a hotel and is receiving services to get in some long-term housing, to a mother who got our childcare voucher and said, I can finally sleep after 2 months. I'm sorry of not sleeping. It's emotional because these are our neighbors. These are, in some cases, our family members. These are people that didn't expect to find themselves out of work, didn't expect to find themselves unable to pay their bills, and do. And so we're really grateful that we have this funding right now, that it must be expended through the end of December is our deadline. And so we're sort of on a mad race to get as much money out as we can, and we know that it's moving out there. So we're excited that people can sign up on our website for help. It's a very simple application process, and if I may, I'll show you our website, and we can get a little clearer on how to access some of these resources. So if you go to santafenm.gov/connect, even if you just go to the Santa Fe City homepage, you can get a link that will take you to our Connect program page. As the mayor said, this is a project that is in partnership with the county, and it's in Spanish and English. The sign-in, it's super, super easy. And you just fill out a form with your name, your birthday, phone number, and email, and an estimate of your income. You can tell us what language you want to be contacted in, and give us a little description of the kinds of help you need. And someone in our Navigator network will contact you. I just want to also show you a little picture of some of our partners. This has grown exponentially in the last 6 months, and we now have over 130 navigators in our community. These are the people who help the people, who are working diligently to get these funds and other resources to people in the community. We're excited that another thing that we're able to do next week is, we know a lot of people weren't eligible for unemployment or federal stimulus. Some people are facing eviction.
Whoops. We have a frozen Kira. Let me pick up while maybe her technology kicks back in, or if we lost her, I'll pick it up from here. We're looking at something next week called the Family Independence Initiative, FII, which is another group that can provide support and help for people in our community who may be without funds or in dire need of support. Let me add to what Kira said about that website. If for any reason you're not able to access the web, you don't have an internet connection, there's a very simple phone number for our Connect program, 955-9525. If you don't have the access to a web page, that phone number connects you to Connect, 955-9525.
Sorry, Mayor.
Kira's
I
back.
out there for a minute, and it's actually 995.
Oh, I wrote it down wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a county number, 995-9525.
995-9525 connects you to Connect. And
Yes.
Kira, I was mentioning the Family Independence Initiative as
Yes.
another resource that we hope will be coming online very soon. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, the Family Independence Initiative is a partner, a national partner that has recognized that sometimes the best way to help people in need is just give them money, that they know what they need the money for. They know whether they're going to pay rent with it, whether they're going to make a childcare payment, a car payment, and that giving money directly to people in need who are eligible for the funds is also a great way to stimulate our local economy and get that money right back into circulation in Santa Fe. And so we've partnered with FII, Family Independence Initiative, brought them into our Connect network. We also have local partners who are helping folks who did not get unemployment, aren't eligible for federal stimulus, but were affected because they might have been out of work, whose workplaces may have had to close because of COVID. And those folks will get a $750 one-time payment if they're eligible. They need to have children in the household. And the other fund through FII will be for people that are facing eviction. We know because we have an eviction moratorium, many people have been spared from being made to leave their homes, but their bills are piling up and their rent is overdue and they're in need of help. And so Chainbreakers Collective is our local partner who will be helping administer the eviction prevention fund. And that'll be $3,000 for eligible folks and a one-time payment. We know this is actually a drop in the bucket compared to the need out there right now, but we're excited to be able to partner with Family Independence Initiative, which has administered a lot of these funds throughout the country, including in Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Chicago, and Santa Fe is now joining their network of cities and communities that have recognized that the best way to help people is often just to empower them with the cash they need to pay their own bills.
Super. Why don't you give that phone number again that I goofed up so we can get it right?
Sure. The phone number for the Connect project is 995-9525. You'll need to leave a message and a navigator will return your call. So speak clearly and leave your number and you'll get a call back from one of our navigators in the Connect network.
And the good news, I think, is that if there is a special session and if the governor does succeed in getting more resources pushed into communities around and across New Mexico, and some of it comes through Santa Fe. What Kira has achieved with the county is to set up the pipes, the connections, so that that money could flow. If it comes to us, we can get it out the door into people's hands, and make a difference in people's lives, make it possible for them to stay warm, stay fed, stay safe, stay healthy. But remember, the governor's announcement today changes the game for the next 2 weeks. And this is of the most critical importance, that we bend the curve of COVID-19 case increases. We've got to get it back down where it was when we were focused and when the community spread was under control. So if you don't have to go out, don't go out. If you do have to go out, wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, practice social distancing. All of these fundamentals are the things we've got to go back to. If you want to know if you potentially have been exposed to somebody who has been tested positive, download the app called Novid, Novid, onto your smartphone. It's free and it's anonymous, and it's a way of giving yourself an early warning system that will tell you if you have come within contact of somebody who has COVID positive testing. Anything else, Kira? I want to go on to the small business grants, but you are doing such a remarkable job. 3.6 million is already underway. There's money for childcare that's available.
Yes, if you are needing childcare to keep working and having trouble making your childcare payments, talk to your childcare provider. All the childcare providers in Santa Fe have been made aware that there's a voucher program. The city's paying your childcare payments through the end of December, and we've already put out $279,000 into that program, and there's more available. So please talk to your childcare provider. You can also reach out through the Connect network again if you need help with childcare.
And this is a good time to ask for help. Everybody's in the same boat. We're all going through this together. There's nobody immune from COVID-19. We've seen it's already reached into the White House. It's reached into many mayor's offices around the country. I have a friend who's a mayor in another city who actually lost one of her staff people close to her to COVID-19. This is not a disease that plays favorites. Everybody can catch it, and it can prove fatal, because we've now hit 21 total deaths in Santa Fe County. So the governor is cracking down, closing things. She's not alone. This is going on in other states because it is currently really a national emergency. Anything else, Kara, before I turn to a little bit of information on the business grants?
No, thank you. That's it. Just please do reach out. We're here to help, and we want to get you what you need.
And we've got resources at least through the end of December. If there's a special session and more becomes available, or with a change of administration in Washington, D.C., if there's another round of federal help, which so far we've been waiting for and didn't happen before the election. We're very hopeful in cities and mayors around America are all talking about the prospect for post-election, new administration, new view toward helping people in cities who are struggling to make ends meet, and people in rural America as well. Another round of CARES funding really is dramatically important. So let's bend the curve. If you need help, now's the time to ask for it. The contracts are in place. The money has been provided by the state of New Mexico, largely because of the good job you all did in the community to bend the curve early on. And it was that effort that got us $17.5 million, which we're now putting out through Kira and others to help people. Now's the time to bend the curve again and get ourselves back into the green among the different layers that will be evaluated on a county by county basis. Thank you, Kira. I'm going to talk a little bit about small business and then a couple other things, but everybody should know what a great job you do and how lucky we are to have you working for the city of Santa Fe. I know it, but not everybody else knows it. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. I get to work with some great people and some amazing organizations. We have such a network of caring people in Santa Fe, and so it's a great place to be doing this work. Thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You take care. You stay safe too. The other part of the way we're helping right now is through small business grants. And uh, I got an update today. The city and the county are cooperating with our economic development teams. Um, Currently, there are a number of small businesses and nonprofits who've already received $15,000 grants, or some a little bit less than that, but Kasakuma, Sultry Ski, India Inc. Enterprises, Tom Taylor, Raising Rue, Designs of Erica, WSYI, Loretta Tours, Agni Ayurveda, Momentum Preschool, and Wise Fool are all recipients of these grants. They're not loans, friends, those are grants. We have 53 small business applications in the pipeline at the current moment that are being reviewed. If you believe you qualify, or if you want to find out if you qualify for a non-reimbursable grant, it's not a loan, you don't have to pay it back. You can go to the city's website and you can watch a webinar on our YouTube page. And it's a long URL, so I won't read it, but maybe we can put it in underneath later. We held a grants program Q&A this past Thursday in Santa Fe city government. Fabian Trujillo is the guy to talk to. He knows what you need to know. He knows what it takes to qualify. And you can reach him at 955-6912 and find out if you qualify for a small business or nonprofit grant. It is money that you will not be required to pay back. It is designed to be part of this comprehensive effort to keep people moving forward, sustaining our community, helping our mom and pop companies and stores during this time, particularly now as the governor has said we need to close down for the next 2 weeks in order to bend the curve of COVID-19. Please heed her directions. We're standing with her. Santa Fe County and City stood with her. That's partly why we were given $17.5 million, because we did such an extraordinarily good job. You did such an extraordinarily good job of wearing masks, washing hands, practicing social distancing, observing these orders. As we do that, we bend the curve, then we can open up. And even though it will affect Thanksgiving, this is a different year, and we're all going to have to acknowledge that public health takes a priority. I want to mention one other major event that happened at the city council meeting this past week, and that was the council voted to create a women's commission. For the first time, to my knowledge, in the history of the city of Santa Fe. It couldn't come at a better time. It's a time when, as a country, we are addressing inequities, inequalities in our systems, ways in which people are held back from their ability to reach their own personal goals, to achieve their God-given talents and bring those to the highest level. This new commission will speak on behalf of women across Santa Fe, and I want to introduce you to some of the members who were appointed, because it is a really remarkable group of individuals, and it is a real achievement to get them to help all of us have a more equitable, fair, and open society. The chairperson, Dr. Candace Flint, has her doctorate of education in organizational leadership. She's an educator, former principal, and works at the New Mexico Public Education Department. She will chair the new commission. Also on the commission is Sasha Anderson. She's a member of the Gonzales Community School Advisory Council and PTA president. She belongs to the Faith Network for Immigrant Justice. She is a member of the Choctaw Nation, and she is also the New Mexico co-coordinator for Postpartum Support International. an outstanding individual. Another outstanding individual, Oliva Sloan, District 2, native Santa Fean, Native American. She has a master's in public health. She's a registered nurse. She's a manager of the research department at a local cancer center and trustee of the Santa Fe Children's Museum. Araceli Varela, Girls Inc. of Santa Fe since 2010, bilingual, lifelong resident of Santa Fe, a BA and an MS from UNM in education. Fatima Van Hattem, born in Espanola, raised in Abiquiu. She has a BA from the University of London and a master's in globalization and development. She's working on her PhD at UNM in educational thought and sociocultural studies. Currently program co-director for NewMexicoWomen.org. She has an amazing and remarkable resume. She led a collaborative research project whose aim was to advance gender equity work and to identify priorities at the intersection of health equity and economic security for women and girls in New Mexico. Another outstanding person who's willing to step up and volunteer their time on this commission. Gabriella Schwenker, she's of Guatemalan descent. She's bilingual. She has a BA in sociology and anthropology and a minor in Spanish. Also, in accounting and business administration degree from the Santa Fe Community College. She is on the Women of Thornburg Committee to foster a culture of diversity and inclusion for women of all experiences and career levels. Vicki Gabin, JD from UNM, an emphasis in natural resources, substantial mediation and negotiation training, a bill analyst with the New Mexico legislature with various committees, a volunteer at Casa Familia and the St. Elizabeth Shelter, co-chair of the Santa Fe National Organization for Women of the Economic Equity Committee on Housing. There are two alternates in case anybody has to drop out or miss meetings. Kate Cleaver, New Mexico Coalition to End Homelessness, Masters of Social Work, Columbia Bachelor's at Highland, and Carla Bacecci, an MBA from UNM, a JD from Tulane, a bachelor's from Georgetown, works at the Finance Committee of the New Mexico State Legislature. These are outstanding women. They are incredible in their talents, and we're very grateful to them for stepping up and really taking on a tough job of changing the conversation, analyzing policy, working on ways to make Santa Fe and northern New Mexico a place where women have the opportunity to realize all of their gifts. They're treated more than fairly. They are given absolute equity across our community. So thank you to all of them for their work. Thank you to Kira Ochoa and her team who did the hard work of coming up with this slate of outstanding individuals who will make a terrific commission to look at women and the lives of women in Santa Fe County in northern New Mexico. One last word, and that is our friends at the Rio Grande chapter of the Sierra Club have an online auction, and you can bid on some terrific things, including lunch with my friend Tim Keller. I can tell you I have had lunch with Tim Keller. He is smart, fun. He is a man who's always welcoming of new ideas. You would do well to bid on lunch with Mayor Tim Keller of Albuquerque. Also, a big shout out to the program that's underway right now involving journalism under fire. It's year 3 or so, maybe more, that this program has been launched here in Santa Fe. It is an outstanding program with virtual speakers from all over the country, all over the world. We know that over the last few years, attacks on journalists and journalism have been rampant. Our friends in journalism have been called by the President of the United States enemies of the people. We've seen journalists killed, imprisoned. We've seen them muzzled and muffled. And this amazing conference that's going on right now is a triumphant return from last year's excellent program, where here in Santa Fe, the discussion is focused on how do you cover crises when things are critical, when the world is in flames, when attacks on journalism, on truth are rampant. If you're a journalist or someone who supports journalism, how do crises affect journalism? And how do we overcome those crises so that journalism maintains its standing in the world? Really an important conference and very much worth talking about, checking out, and attending. That about does it for this session. It's been a long one. I started out by focusing on the governor's new announcement. It is critical that we do our best to break the back of the COVID-19 curve. Stay home. Don't go out unless you have to. If you're sick, you must stay home. If you think you may have been exposed, you must stay home. Wear a mask over both nose and mouth. Wash your hands. Observe social distancing. Reduce operations. We've got 2 weeks to bend the curve of COVID-19. I know we can do it. We've done it before. There's help if you need it. Talk to our Connect program navigators. Stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your families, take care of our community, take care of Santa Fe. We are all in this together. We're going to make it through this together. We are going to come out strong, healthy, and united. Thank you for watching. Have a safe weekend. Let's begin to bend the curve the way the governor has asked us to. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.